Hello, welcome to Meta Perfume. I'm Emily here again today with Trixie. I think she wants me to wash her cover, so I'll do that later, but she's like always trying to take it off, the cover that's on her little chair over there. No, she's a good girl. Anyway, so I'm continuing my series today with the Island Fantasy series of Britney Spears fragrances in my collection. This is kind of a bittersweet fragrance because of a few things. It's one of my favorites in the fantasy line for sure. As you can see, I've gone through almost half of it now. This is also, I think, the best warm weather fragrance. The bitter part of the bittersweet is that it's discontinued and it's difficult to find. You may be able to find it on the secondary market. People ask me a lot where they can find things, and if they're, I usually look on Fragrance Net first. This has been sold out on Fragrance Net for a while. They have the body spray version of it on Fragrance X. But you may have to resort to a secondhand market like Mercari or eBay if you want to pick up a bottle of this. Fragrance was launched in 2013, and unfortunately it has not lasted until today being manufactured. They did, however, recently release a new fragrance that is similar on a level. I mean, the main top note of this fragrance is watermelon. So I'll put up the notes in just a second, but the new fragrance they released is called Jungle Fantasy, which has different notes, a different set of notes altogether, but the main top note in that one is also watermelon. And there are some similarities, although there are a lot of differences too between this and Jungle Fantasy. It's got a little bit different packaging. It's still a kind of a green see-through glass, but with like a pink rhinestones of the little thing there. So anyway, this unfortunately is discontinued. Look on eBay if you really want to get your hands on it, or you can try the body mist. But I'm going to cover it anyway because it is one of my favorites in the line, and I'm going through my whole line. So yeah. So the notes on this one, the top notes are watermelon, citruses, clementine, mandarin orange, and red berries. So I'm a huge fan of orange and citruses generally, and I also like a good watermelon note. Middle notes are freesia, violet, and jasmine, and then in the base you have sugarcane and musk. So again, with that base that kind of runs through the fantasy line generally, a sugary note, that sugarcane, and then the musk. I'm not sure if musk is present in all of them, but I do think musk might be in all of them or in almost all of the fantasy series from Britney. So this one, to me, I love the watermelon on top. This is probably my favorite fragrance that has a watermelon note. And I love the citruses and the oranges that complement it. Yeah, I get mostly the citruses and the watermelon on top. Definitely can smell the watermelon, taste the watermelon. And the way that it mixes with the middle and the base is just really, really lovely, really nice. And to my nose, it reminds me a bit of a watermelon Jolly Rancher, if you remember those. Now that is a bit sweet, yes. It is a summertime fragrance. Most people say that this is good for summertime and daytime, and I would agree. I think you could wear it in the night too, but it is a light fragrance. The longevity isn't terrible though. I would say I get about 4 hours with this, which isn't too bad for a light summertime, daytime fragrance. Yeah, it is definitely my favorite watermelon fragrance though. So it's so juicy. It's a very juicy fragrance. I mean, the watermelon and the way that it mixes with those other citrus top notes, it's like intense watermelon juice, orange juice scent. But I think the orange and the citruses aren't distinct as like specific citruses. The watermelon is definitely a distinct watermelon note, but the citruses are kind of a mix of citruses. Obviously, they have 3 different citrus notes in the top: citruses, clementine, and mandarin orange. I don't think that the orange jumps out as orange because of the predominance of the watermelon, but it just mixes nicely with it and makes it like a really, really juicy, fruity, sweet, but not, in my opinion, it's not overly sweet like the original Fantasy is. Like this one is fruity and juicy and a little sweet, yes, but not like cloying too much in your face sweet. Oh, I want to spray more. Yeah, and I've definitely worn this over the years. It still smells just as good as it did when I got it. So hopefully if you were to find a secondhand bottle of it on eBay or Mercari, you would enjoy it just as much as I do and have. Yeah, I think that middle floral component with the freesia, violet, and jasmine, I get mostly freesia, and I get that more in the dry down. I think the fragrance is fairly dynamic. It starts with that burst of juicy, fruity watermelon and citrus, and then as it dries down, the freesia comes through a bit more. The freesia can also be kind of a sweet floral on a level, so I think that is nicely balanced with the violet and the jasmine. I think that it's just a really nice composition on this one. Obviously there's the musk and the sugarcane in the base. Those are holding the fragrance, so it's not just gone as soon as the top evaporates. It still lingers with that nice floral component, and this watermelon component honestly stays even into the dry down. Those other citruses, red berries, might float away, as the top notes will do, but there is a slight hint of watermelon in the dry down as well to my nose. So this is a very lovely, sexy, juicy, fruity, delicious, unfortunately discontinued summertime fragrance. Summertime, daytime, definitely good for hot weather. Probably not going to stand up super well in cool weather, but that is one of my top 2 or 3 favorites in the Fantasy line. So if they want to re-release this, other than the Jungle Fantasy, which I did order but hasn't arrived yet, so I will review that, and that's available now on FragranceNet and just for purchase. I'll do a comparison probably when I review that one, so you can see what the differences are. Maybe I'll like that one more. Maybe you would get Jungle Fantasy and not Island Fantasy because you want the watermelon goodness, but with a little different twist. So anyway, that is Island Fantasy by Britney Spears. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't. That would be fantastic. Give this a like if you liked it, and we will see you in our next video. Take care. Bye-bye.